We're now going to divide using synthetic division. You guys, I know, are going to like this way much, much better. But there's a constraint, though. You can only divide when you're dividing by a binomial, when a is 1, and I'll show what I mean. So this is only. So yes, you still need to know how to do long division. So for example, if I'm dividing by x plus 1, I can do synthetic division, or x minus 10, synthetic, x plus 2, synthetic, all because a right in front of the x is 1. Alright, so let's look at an example. Alright, so we have x cubed plus x squared minus 4x minus 4 divided by x plus 2. So I know I can do synthetic division because a is 1 and it's x plus 2. So what you're going to do is synthetic division it involves no variables, only the coefficients. So you are going to take the coefficients of each of these terms and write them first. So the coefficient of x cubed is 1, x squared is also 1, and then of x is negative 4, and then our constant is negative 4. Now when we draw the box, it's actually going to be upside down. Okay? There's a lot of things in synthetic division that are kind of like the opposite from long division. Now here's the trick. I'm using all the coefficients because I'm using the value of each term. So I need to use the value of this. Okay, so my value, what does x equal? Well, technically in here, x equals negative 2. Yes, it's always going to be the opposite because this is in factored form right here. So this number over here is always going to be the value of x. Okay, we are taking this solution to this cubic function and we are putting it in and dividing. Okay, so this is the order in which we do synthetic division. The first thing we need to do is we drop down this 1. Alright, then we do negative 2 times negative 1, and we write that right here. So negative 2 times 1, I don't know if I said negative 1 before, but I meant negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Alright, also the opposite of long division, now we add down. So we're going to get negative 1. Now we do it again. Negative 2 now times negative 1, and we're going to get 2, and we write it there. Now we add down, and we're going to get negative 2. And we keep doing this process, so the last thing that we have to do is negative 2 times this negative 2, which is positive 4. You write it there, and we're going to add down. Now, this last value right here is always our remainder, so that's how we separate it. It is always going to be our remainder. So, this is it. Now, how do we go from this to telling me what my dividend is going to be? What is my answer? Or I'm sorry, not my dividend, my quotient. My quotient is my answer. So how do I go from these values right here and tell what my quotient is? Well, you first have to think about, just like in long division, your first term of your dividend and your first term of your divisor. So if I'm dividing by an x out of an x cubed, it's going to go down 1 degree. So I'm going to start x squared. Okay, now my coefficient is 1, so technically 1x squared. And then we move to this next term, minus x. See how we're going down in degree order? And then the last one is minus 2. So this works out perfectly. We don't need this number right here because it is the remainder. So this is our final answer. Okay, so if that confused you again, I'm just going to show you a bunch more examples. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the coefficients of our dividend, what's being divided. And I'm going to write those down first. 4, negative 12, negative 1, and 15. I'm going to draw my box. Okay, now what goes on the outside is the opposite of this value right here that's plus 1. Since this is in factored form, I actually want to use this solution, which is going to be negative 1. Okay, so I drop down the 4. I do negative 1 times that 4, and I get negative 4. Now we add this down, and I get negative 16. Alright, you do it again. outside negative 1 times negative 16, you're going to get positive 16. Add down, and you're going to get 15. Negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. This is our remainder, and add down and you get 0. So we have a remainder of 0. So the last thing I need to do, I started with the cubic, I went down 1. We're always going down 1 degree when we do synthetic division. So I'm going to start 4x squared minus 16x plus 15. Alright, so we have 3 more examples. First step, write all my coefficients out. Negative 3, 20, negative 36, 16. And since it's x minus 4, I'm going to have a positive 4 out here. Alright, here we go. Drop down to negative 3, that's always our first move. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 20 plus negative 12 gives us 8. So now we go back to the outside. 4 times 8 gives me 32. You add down negative 36 plus 32 gives me negative 4. And then I have 4 times negative 4, which gives me negative 16, and I get 0. And that last value is always our remainder. So our final answer is going to be negative 3x squared plus 8x minus 4. For the next 2 problems, excuse me, not for this next one, but for that last problem, feel free to do one of these on your own before I explain them. But the next one I'm going to add something in, so pay attention. Okay, so just like long division, we need placeholders. I'm missing a cubic placeholder here, and I'm missing my constant at the end. So technically, we need to look at the expression x to the 4th plus 0x cubed minus 13x squared minus 12x plus 0. Okay, you need these placeholders or else it is not going to work out, just like in long division. So we have 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to set this up now, and I'm going to say 1, 0, negative 13, negative 12, 0. I have x minus 1, I have x plus 1, so I'm going to use negative 1. Alright, drop the 1 down. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. 0 plus negative 1 is negative 1. Then going to the outside, you have negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. Then you add down negative 13 plus 1 gives me negative 12. And then we have negative 1 times negative 12 gives me positive 12. Add down, I get 0. Now notice I got 0, but this isn't my remainder. My very last one is. That's why we need those placeholders. So again, we're going to do negative 1 times 0, which is 0, which confirms that I have a remainder of 0. And here we go. Our final answer is x cubed, because we started with a quartic function and we divided 1 out. So we always go 1 down. So x cubed minus x squared minus 12x. Now I can stop here because I'm not going to add the plus 0 in right here. So this is our final answer. This is our last example. Feel free to pause and try this one on your own, but I'm going to walk through it right now. I don't need any placeholders. My dividend goes 3, 2, 1, 0. And I know I can use synthetic because a is 1. So I'm going to begin bringing down my coefficients. 1, 3, negative 4, negative 10. And we're going to use positive 2. Okay, bring down the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Add down. 3 plus 2 is 5. Back to the outside. 2 times 5 is 10. Add down again, and you're going to get positive 6. And then you do 2 times 6 is 12. Add down again, and you get 2. Now remember, this one is always our remainder. So we haven't done a problem like this. Your final answer is going to be 1 less than your original or your dividend. x squared plus 5x plus 6 plus, just like long division. And there we have it. This is our final answer.